would you say to someone who's going through a really bad time and she said you've got to go right through it? If they put this suit in a vintage shop on Brick Lane, it'd be about 100 quid. You will find that in a charity shop for about £15. And then I got made redundant during COVID and I was pregnant. The dermatologist said there and then, that's melanoma. Until they reach rock bottom, they can't come up. And it wasn't until my mum was like, you haven't hit your spot yet, Jen, your lowest spot. And when I hit that spot, then the only way was up then. This time last year, I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die of a broken heart. Literally did. I thought that I could not see the light. I couldn't. This is one of my biggest things as well about removing this stigma. Vintage is huge. In London, Brick Lane, full of vintage shops. Charity shops are more vintage than a vintage shop on Brick Lane.
We good? Oh, yeah.
Hi.
I've got to say, I don't think I've seen Sophie this excited since she went down the wine aisle in Costco. Oh. Yeah, thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So, just found out that we grew up in the same area.
Yeah.
So, tell us a bit about what it was like growing up for you.
So, I was born in Norris Green, and then when I was about 9, I think, a terrible memory, I always forget, we emigrated to America.
Did you?
Well, actually, I went to Anfield Juniors for a little bit, and then, no, I didn't. We went to America, come back, and then I started Anfield Juniors, like mid-time, like halfway through, and then we lived on Breck Road. I loved living on Breck Road. I worked in the cabbage hall and everything. I loved it. And I have such good memories of how amazing the street was. You were always in your neighbour's house. They were in yours. We'd go out at like, on a weekend or like half term, we'd go out at like 9 o'clock and we wouldn't come in till 10. We wouldn't even eat. You know, we didn't have phones. Our mum didn't ask us where we were.
Yeah.
We just would have great times. Like riding our bikes to Stanley Park and just such good times. And then I moved to Crosby for a little bit. Then I moved to Jersey. Lived in Jersey for 3 years, come back from Jersey and moved to Cheshire and Sandbach. Sandbach in Cheshire.
Is that where you are now?
Yeah, I've been there 14 years now. I love it there. I'm definitely a country girl. I always thought I was a city girl, but I'm definitely a country girl.
Do you have a welly stand?
No. I don't wear... I'd love to have a welly stand and a brolly stand and a coat stand, but I'm not rich enough to have a hallway to have the space for it yet, so no, I haven't.
So what got you into fashion?
Since I was young, I'd say 10, 11, I always dressed like a little bit quirky, and there was always a bit of a joke that when everyone was getting Lacoste tracksuits at Christmas for like Boxing Day and for Easter, I was always like in Tammy Girl and Etam and C&A buying like, I had tartan trousers, blue suede shoes. I was always just a little bit like different and a bit odd in what I wore. And then when I was about 17, I started charity shopping. I actually first started shopping in Quiggins. I used to just love it in there because I love a rummage. I've always loved a TK Maxx as well. And I always say, if you're a TK Maxxer, you've got charity shop in your bones because it's a rummage, isn't it? And what I loved about Quiggins was how random it was.
Yeah.
Like the most bizarre stuff that you could find. I remember going on a night out and one of my friends still takes the piss out of me for this. I wore one lace glove and a trilby, a little cord skirt, and like this stripy, it was Jaeger actually, which is one of my favourite brands now. And I got that from Quiggins, the lace glove and the trilby. And he always, even now, if I'm going out, he goes, "You're wearing that lace glove and your trilby." I just was always known for being a little bit odd and quirky. And then from about 17, I started venturing into charity shops.
So that outfit was on a first date?
No.
No.
Would have been the last one probably if I'd wore that.
So what inspired you to start the whole socials and stuff around?
Well, I've been in the car industry since I left school. I worked at Mercedes, Road Range and Pall Mall when that was there.
Okay.
Then I went to Porsche, I went to BMW. When I lived in Jersey, I worked at Honda, come back, I worked at Land Rover. And then I got made redundant during COVID and I was pregnant.
No.
I know people go, that can't happen, they can't do that, but they could because they were actually closing the dealership. So, and I'd always just dressed different and loved fashion. And my daughter, who was 12 at the time, said, why don't you start doing TikToks? And I thought she meant like dancey videos. I did actually get involved in a couple of them. You know, that dun, 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 dun. I did get involved in that. But she said, no, like doing hauls and showing what you get from the charity shops and styling. And I literally just posted one video. And if you watch that video, I'm so timid on it. Like, I'm like, hi, do you want, I'm just going to show you how to wear this jacket 3 different ways. And then it almost, not even exaggerating, it escalated quite quickly. As in, people were following me. I had 10,000 followers. And then I started putting like little jokes in. If I made a mistake or like tripped over when I was doing something, I'd go, oh, and I'd leave it in. People started really liking that part of me. And then I
'Cause it was real.
started, yeah, I started then thinking, I feel quite safe here to be myself. So I started, my voice got louder as I started being myself. And I noticed that I started showing my little quirks. And I drink Cinzano, which is like a 70s drink with 2 olives in it. And I was drinking that, and people were going, I've never tried that. Oh, my mum used to drink that. Or my little quirks were coming out, and people were just loving it. And then I started bringing my humour out. When I got to like 1,000 followers, I made a joke about I'm struggling to put the bins out now because, you know, everyone knows who I am. And then people were laughing, and then that was pouring into me. And then it just was getting bigger and bigger. And then charities would invite me in to cut the ribbon in their shops. And then it was just escalated really quickly.
So over what period was that? Was it literally just within a
I'd
couple of
say
months?
6 months.
Was it?
6 months, it was like, this is bigger than I thought it was going to be. I was doing I was in charity shops 5 times more than I would usually be. I was buying hauls, I was videoing hauls, I was like spending all day editing videos, I was up all night, you know, thinking of new content. I was traveling the country so that charities would notice me, you know, so I would think, where can I go? I'll go to Mold, I'll go to Llandudno, I'll go to, you know, I was going to Cotswolds, I was going to Warwickshire, I was going to all different places, because then followers were saying, we've got great charity shops, come shop by us. And then I was doing that. It consumed my life massively in about 6 months.
It's funny though, really, because if you think about that, obviously it's nice for them to invite you in, but it's costing you money all the time, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because you're thinking, well, I'm not earning as such, but I'm having to go out and spend money all the time to go and visit all these charity shops, really, aren't you?
Yeah, I probably only just started making money in the last 12 months, because I think it was difficult for charities to see that I was a marketing tool, you know, because charities pay for leaflets through doors, they pay for Facebook ads. So I'm
You're like a
fame.
walking
Yeah.
Facebook ad.
So and I'm reaching the right people, aren't I? People that follow me are charity shoppers. So it's taken a while, and it's still taking a while for them to see me. But then there's incredible charities. There's one in Brighton who I have a great relationship with, and they really do see the value of me, and they've benefited from it. They've said that the minute I post a video saying I'm in their shop, that next weekend their footfall rises, the money in the till gets bigger. So I've got testimonials now that prove that what I do is works and benefits the charities. So, and now I obviously I started incorporating more of my life in my kids, my love of cooking, my love of music. And then I started working with brands then. People liked my hair. I worked with L'Oreal. You know, people liked my makeup. I ended up working with makeup companies. That's when I started making the money. And then that's when it meant that I could do things for charity for free, because I was making money in other ways. But at first it did cost me, and it's probably still does cost me a lot of money, because I'm constantly in a charity shop buying all the time and wanting to show people the amazing stuff that's in there. So I'm probably spending more than I earn. Definitely.
So tell us a bit about yourself, because you mentioned before you've had a few health scares and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, so I have had skin cancer. I had skin cancer in 2013. I had a mole on my leg. I did go on the sunbeds like I did go on the sunbeds a lot. I used to go on holiday and I'd be that one that moved my sun lounger around as the sun went round, and I wouldn't go in until the sun had gone behind the buildings and you couldn't get any more. And I went to get it checked just because it was growing a little bit on my right leg, and the dermatologist said there and then, that's melanoma.
All right.
And I froze. I'll never ever forget it. Literally my body, like, it was like it had been filled with cement. I just was like, I don't know what to do here. My dad lived in Thailand at the time. I called my dad and he said, I'm going to pay for you to get a second opinion. So I went to the Spire the next day. She said there and then, it's a melanoma. And within about 6 weeks, I was in the Christie Hospital having it taken off. I had a wide local excision, so they took about that much of my leg out. And then when I woke up, they said, when the doctor come round, we took another one off above it. We're going to send that off. And that one come back as a melanoma as well. So I had two on the same leg now. But there is a positive to that, because I was on crutches for about 8 weeks. And that time I was on crutches, I'm 100 miles an hour. I always have to have a project. I'm not very good at resting. I'm always on the go. I'm always, what's my next thing? What can I do next? And while I was on crutches, I watched YouTube videos, taught myself to bake. And then I opened a cake shop as soon as I was back on my feet. So
You got it.
No, I sadly, I've been through 3 very difficult times in my life. The first 2, I didn't deal with it the way I should have dealt with it. I plastered over it by giving myself a big project. And then my shop was open for 6 months. I was #1 on TripAdvisor. I was selling out every day. But I was masking the fact that I'd just had cancer. I'd been in a really bad place. And then I think I had a nervous breakdown. I think I would go as far to say I had a nervous breakdown. So I sold the shop. And then the next time after that, I suffered with my migraines. I went and worked at Mercedes. I had to leave Mercedes because of my migraines, because they just were crippling me. I had no preventative. I had nothing to help me when I had a migraine. And then again, hit a dark spot. And again, just plastered over it by keeping busy. And then this time, at the beginning of this year, was probably the lowest I've ever been in my entire life. I went through a divorce that I never ever thought was going to happen. I'm going to cry, but I don't want to. But I just dealt with it differently, you know. I heard this quote once by Angelina Jolie and it stuck with me, and someone asked her a question. What would you say to someone who's going through a really bad time? And she said, you've got to go right through it. And that's what I did this time. And I feel like I'm like a totally different person because I didn't plaster over it. You know what I mean? I literally
actually dealt with it.
Sat with the feelings. Some days I didn't get out of bed. I didn't eat. Like, some days I couldn't stop crying. Some days I was okay. And I went with all those feelings. You know what I mean? I felt everything. Even on the days when I felt like I'm not going to come out of this. And then I saw something as well where this woman did something on TikTok where she had a cup and it was like red wine and she kept filling it with the water and it kept coming out and then eventually it was clear.
Yeah.
And that to me was probably my journey. The last 6 months was like, it's keep going. Feel it. Today I feel like shit. I'm not getting up. I'm not getting dressed. I can't cope. I can't physically cope. I just sometimes sit and just think. Do you know what I mean? My heart was broken, like on another level, broken. I had 3 kids that still needed me to be mum. Do you know what I mean? 3 kids that watched me go through that. But then I've also got now 3 kids who watched me at rock bottom, couldn't talk without crying, just trekked 60 miles across the Sahara Desert. My charity shop girl is soaring. I'm thriving on everything. What is that going to do for my kids? It's going to show them resilience. They're going to go, if they have tough times, they're going to go, my mum had tough times, but look what she did when she come out of it. You know what I mean? So for me, that time was awful, but I don't see it as a negative thing. I see the last 2 times, shit times, as negative, but this time, is it called a catalyst? It was like the
Yeah.
catalyst of me learning to like
yourself
my own
forward.
company, learning to love myself, not in an obnoxious way, but learning to go, love all my little quirks, I know what I bring to the table. I know that I'm a catch. I know that I'm all these great things. And then now, what comes off the back of you, it's a really hard journey to get to that. But when you are in that frame of mind, what comes off the back of that is really incredible. You know, I always think you are what you eat, you are what you do, you are what you say, and you are what you give out, aren't you? So I know that when I'm like, I'm on it, I'm thriving, everything's good, I'm eating good, I'm sleeping good, my work's thriving. But when I'm not, it's like a domino effect, isn't it, really?
Do you almost
Tissue, please. That'll be the last cry. I won't cry again. I just want to talk about that. That makes me cry.
do you almost feel like, in a way, it cleansed you by letting yourself go through that?
I feel like I was meant to go through it.
Yeah.
I do feel like I was meant to go through it. And like my ex-husband's still one of my favourite people in the entire world. I love the bones of him. But I feel like I was supposed to meet him. That's all right. That's posh. I feel like I'm gonna move. I feel like I was meant to meet him. I feel like I was meant to meet him because I helped him through some things as well. I think I was meant to go through that. Should I go again?
There's a Ghostbuster going past, it's all right.
Yeah, I feel like
It's like you've done that on purpose to cheer you up, isn't it?
I love the way she looked, saw on cameras and just carried on.
I feel like I'm a big believer now and things happen for a reason. And at the time, you you might not. Maybe she's a fan. She's a fan of I feel like people always go, "Oh, things happen for a reason." And at the time when you're going through hell, you're like, "Fuck off with that saying." Do you know what I mean? Why is this happening to me? Why me? Why me again? Why is it? When am I going to get a break? Do you know what I mean? And then something happens. So when we went through the separation, I was in a really bad place. And then I lost loads of weight. I weighed 6.5 stone. I was hanging on by a thread. My car broke. And then Alfa Romeo contacted my management and I got a call saying, Alfa Romeo love you. They want to do a collaboration where they're going to put you in a car. And it could not have come at a better time for me. And then after that, it was like, and they were only little things after that, but I started coming back to life. And then the bad days were getting less. The struggles were getting less. My work was coming back in. My videos were getting more like me. I was coming back to life. And then since then, everything's just, and now I appreciate the little things like so much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know now that if whatever happens, I can get through it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what is thrown at you now.
Yeah, that was the lowest I've ever been, and I come out. And who got me out of that? Myself. Do you know what I mean? I've always given myself a hard time. I'm terrible for self-sabotaging, terrible for comparing myself. But now I just feel like I'm going to just compare myself to myself yesterday or myself tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? It's more, it's me.
People get too caught up with the massive big vision and, I'm going to aim for this. But really, if you just try and deal with what's in front of you the next day and just take one step at a time. Because, it's nice to have loads of support and people around you, but ultimately they can never get you through it.
No, and I think,
Only yourself.
It's the same as like people who are like, I've got friends who, as an alcoholic, until they reach rock bottom, they can't come up. And you can say to them as much as you want, but until that person admits or goes, I'm at rock bottom. That was me in January. Everyone's going, you'll be okay. And I was like, I won't be okay. I won't be okay. And it wasn't until my mum was like, you haven't hit your spot yet, Jen, your lowest spot. And when I hit that spot, then the only way was up then.
But you were like, Mum, turn it in, will you?
Yeah, I know. And it was the same stuff all the time. You'll be all right, you know, it'll be all right, you know, just try and do this and try and do that. And it's the same. And people only have your best interests at heart, but they're not inside your head. They're not inside, you know, and things used to be, the smallest thing could trigger me, you know, like if something amazing has happened and I'd want to call that person and tell that person, the rest of the day I'd just wipe me out, you know, because I'm a very empathetic person as well. I do have a lot of empathy. I'm a very emotional person. And I used to think that that was quite negative, but now I like that because I think it's important that I admitted to everyone that I was struggling. I even did it on my social media, and people say that that's what they love about me, is how honest you are. Like, I was at rock bottom. I'm having a terrible time because social media, I think, can be very, very negative. But for me, it has only ever been positive because I have an incredible amount of followers, but they're incredible people. So they're so supportive. They care about me. I get more excited about telling them that something big's coming than sometimes my family members. Because if it wasn't for that, I feel like I feed into them as much as they feed into me. You know, sometimes I think they want to know what I've had for my dinner. You know, they want to know what I'm doing tomorrow. Because if I don't post, the amount of messages I get saying, I miss your stories, where are you? Whereas I used to think I was too much. But I've found my place now where I can be too much and people like it. Do you know what I mean?
People like real.
Yeah, they do like
And
real.
The problem with social media, most of it's not real. So, and you can see through it. So when someone comes along who is actually real, you really resonate with it.
There's a huge place on social media for realness and for people to be honest, because it's the same as filters. It's the same as, you know, your house not being spotless in the back. It's the same as your holidays, you know, the type of car that you've got. I went through a really bad time, especially during COVID, of really comparing myself to people and going, why don't I look like that? Why aren't I doing that? Why aren't I doing this? But then you could talk to someone and they go, do you know that that is not real? Like, you know that that's... But if there was more of that, more honesty and about everything in general, and not just... I always say that social media is like your highlight reel, well, most people's highlight reel. It's like a trailer to a movie. They're showing you the best bits, aren't they? But no one ever puts on their... Well, I do, and some people do, but I'm having a really crap day today. I just don't feel like it, or I'm struggling. We're not having a holiday this year, or, you know, it's always... I feel like some people can leave social media after scrolling for a bit and feel horrendous. I always wanted people to leave my page, feel like that my outfits were achievable, feel like what I'm doing is realistic and relatable. And the other day, I posted a picture of my daughter watching her iPad at the dinner table, and I put, Joni's having her iPad today at the table. I don't care if net mums come for me, but I'm having my dinner in peace. It was blissful. And the amount of people that go, oh, I've had to do that today. I've had days like that. I love that you admit that. Makes just people feel normal. It makes you... Even I posted something ages ago. It sticks with me, this, about how much social media has made me embrace who I am and make me feel so normal. I posted that I have this weird thing about eggs, whereas I can be eating an egg and then be put off eggs forever. For like another couple of weeks or another, I can never eat an egg. Sometimes I really feel like an egg. Sometimes I can go, I'm never eating eggs. And I posted on my story, and about 30 people said, I'm exactly the same. I could be eating an egg and then go, I never eat an egg again for another couple of weeks. And I thought that that made me really weird. But the amount of people that said it was like this little quirk that they've got as well makes you feel so normal. So I think if someone admits they're not feeling great, someone else who's not feeling great will go, I resonate with that because I don't feel great. Joni's had a really bad tantrum today and I feel like I can't wait for her to go to bed. Oh, I thought that's like mum guilt. But I have days when I feel like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just normalising real life things, isn't it?
Who'd have thought all them years ago you'd have had so many egg friends? It's weird, isn't it?
I'm off eggs at the minute, actually, in case you wondered.
Don't tell them that. Your followers will go down. So, obviously, the end of a bad year, really, was you going and trekking.
Yeah.
Go on.
That was amazing. Amazing. Very much out my comfort zone. I am the least outdoorsy person. the only outdoorsy thing is eat al fresco. Like, that's as outdoorsy as it gets for me. Having food on a terrace. But I wanted to challenge myself, and I definitely did that. And I did something where I didn't train physically, I trained mentally. I thought, I'm not going to train because I want my mind to get me through this, because I know that my mind will give up before my body will. My body will have so much left in it, but my mind won't. And it was my mind that got me through, because on the second day we walked, I think it was 23k, my sciatica kicked off. I had a migraine. I literally felt broken. And they nicknamed me on the second day Whiny Bitch, because I was literally just like all night at the camp, I've had enough, I can't do it. And then the next day something just flipped. Whereas I just thought, you've just done the hardest day. The next days were like 15k or like not, or 20k, and they were a bit more spread out. And I got through it. So I know, like cliche, they go, oh, it changed me as a person. It was the most amazing thing. It was. Because it made me realise I'm stronger than I actually give myself credit for. Because I always go, I'm not strong, I'm weak, I'm not going to get through, I'm not going to do it. I don't think I'll ever say that again. And I had a migraine. We climbed a mountain. The people who are on the trek will be listening to this going, it wasn't really a mountain yet, it was a hill. It was a mountain. And I had a migraine coming at the bottom. And I have an injection when I have a migraine. And I thought, I'm going to climb it and then I'm going to take the migraine injection at the top. So technically I did that with a migraine. Sadly now I can't use a migraine as an excuse for anything, because anyone's going to go, well, you climbed a mountain with it. Yeah. But I had an injection at the top. And I knew then that I was pushing myself and not letting my migraines beat me, and not letting my mind, no, you can do this. You know, you can get up there. And I did it. So my body was giving up, and my body was broken when I got back. But mentally I was tough.
I bet you never thought this time last year you'd be in this position now.
No. This time last year I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die of a broken heart. I literally did. I thought that I could not see the light. I couldn't. No matter how many people told me there was light, you know, and that probably sounds awful because I've got kids, and were they not, you know, helping you through? But mentally and emotionally, I was completely and utterly broken. I thought about giving up Charity Shop, girl. I thought, I'm never going to be able to do a video. I'm never going to be able to laugh. I'm never going to be able to. And I love music. Like, charity shopping's my first love. Well, obviously my kids. But, you know, I have to say that because someone will be like, aren't you kids? And then music. I lived probably in a silent world for 2 months. Didn't even put music on, and that's massive for me because I'm a huge lover of music. But even music couldn't lift me out of that. And then when I look back at that now, and I look back at videos of how tiny I was and how people won't know because they won't know how I felt, but the sadness I can see on my eyes breaks my heart.
Were you still posting at that time?
Yeah.
Was you?
People were commenting about my weight, and I would get really defensive about it and go, people shouldn't comment about people's weight. But I didn't realise how bad it was. And then when I look back, I looked ill. Well, I was ill. I was, but I was still posting. But you could just see that was the little part of me that was probably still masking it, wasn't it? And I still wanted to keep that there. And the validation that I was getting from people was helping. You know what I mean? In the background, it was helping that I had that support. Even though they didn't realise they were supporting me, they were. Whether they were checking up on me or just saying, I love your outfit, those little things were just building me up.
Sometimes you just need that, don't you?
Yeah. And I'll admit that I need validation in jobs I've done. I always need my boss to go, you did really well there. And I used to think that that was awful, but I do need that pat on the back. I need someone to go, that looks really great. You did such a great job. I'm that type of person. I feed off that.
Yeah, we were talking about that recently, and most bosses think that by giving people more money, that's what's going to get the best out of them.
Yeah,
No,
it's not.
They just want to be told, look, you're doing a really good job.
It's so important. And I think the charity sector are very, very good at that. They've just had an awards recently in London a couple of days ago where they did an award for the UK's favourite charity shop. Now, for me, they don't realise how important that is to the volunteers. And they're so competitive, but in a nice way, the sector. They want to be the best. And for me, that is everything, because who doesn't want to win the best charity shop? You know, then they're going to think, oh, we want to be the best, we want to win. But even the awards, Robin Osterley, who's the CEO of the Charity Retail Association, getting up there and saying, you're all doing amazing, we're doing this. You could see people just, they're like, you know, their body language changing. So even the way he introduced me, she does a lot for the sector. And you're like sitting there thinking, he's talking about me.
No.
And that is nice. And I'll admit that, you know, that I want to hear those things. Someone saying, here, next up, we've got this girl's being great for the sector. She's done so much. She uses her platform to talk about us. And I'm like, yeah. And then that like builds you up, doesn't it? So everyone wants to hear, you're doing a great job. Even if you cook a dinner, I love nothing more than my kids going. My kids are so complimentary of my cooking because I'm a good cook. But they go, Mum, that was the best spaghetti bolognese we've ever had. And they don't know how much that means to me to think, oh, then the next one needs to be better than that, then, doesn't it? You know, it's the compliments are everything, aren't they? For me. And I feed off that big time. This is where you compliment me now.
So, talking about the charity, what's your favourite find?
It's such a difficult question because every time I go out, I go, oh my God, I love that. And it can literally be a cup or I love fake grapes, like ornamental fruit. If I find ornamental fruit, it's my favourite.
Really?
But I'd say the coat I've got on today, because I've had that for 10 years and I bought it from Oxfam. And it's literally one of those things that I'm trying to be one in, one out now. So if I buy a jumper, I'll then donate another jumper back. I'll say I haven't worn that one for a bit. My new jumper's going in. Let's donate that one back. That's the coat. It's from British Home Stores. It's men's. I love it. It goes with everything. And it's the one thing that I don't think I'll ever part with. So, and I think it was 15 quid. And I love it. But I love men's suits. I've found a YSL blazer. I've found a Fendi bag. Although I'm not a big designer girl, I get more excited about finding a men's suit that fits me perfectly or that I feel great in. Or even a present for someone. Like I buy loads of presents for my friends from charity shops. They do know that. This is not new to them. They do know. And my friend loves kitchen gadgets. And Oxfam sometimes have like new kitchen gadgets. If I find the perfect gadget, that becomes my favourite find.
Right.
Because I love her face when I give it to her. Like maybe it's a poached egg thing shaped like a flamingo or something. She loves stuff like that. So every time I find something is my favourite.
So there's nothing really you go in and you think, even whether you prefer finding coats or bags or whatever, it's
it's the thrill of the thrift. It's like not knowing. That's what I love about it the most. And because I love fashion, I could plan an outfit on a Saturday night, go charity shopping on that Saturday, see something that's completely different to what I planned to wear, and I'll go, I'm wearing that. And that's what I love about it, is I didn't realise that I needed a teapot with, you know, a circus theme on it. Yeah. But it's my new favourite thing, do you know what I mean? It's not knowing what you're going to find. Or it's finding something that fits you perfectly and you feel so good in it. That's another part of my platform is trying to get people to create their own style and just feel amazing in what they wear. It's okay if you wear it twice. It's okay if someone else doesn't like it. It's okay if it's quirky and it's not somebody else's style. If you put it on and you feel amazing in it, that's what comes across in my videos, because I will try stuff on and go, oh my God, that dress that I wore that Frank Usher on, velvet, floor-length gown. I felt like a Bond girl in it. And it was, I think it was 10 quid. And it's all about that. I don't think you get that high street shopping.
No.
You don't get that.
People tend to be like sheep, don't they? So they'll come out and there'll be a certain brand that's on trend at the moment. Yeah. They'll all go for that. And it takes away that individuality, really, doesn't it? Of everyone ends up looking the same. You always shop the same and stuff. Where what you're trying to do is break the mold a bit. And say, be yourself, get your own personality out. And I think that social media, there's a lot to blame for that, and the media, because they're constantly pushing down our throat. But that's not on trend anymore. Like, who says? You know, like you read these magazines and it says, you know, on trends. It's like on trends, not on trends, and it could be like print.
animal print, not on trend. And then next month it's on trend. But if you've got leopard print or you've got animal print and you love it, wear it. Like, I still wear shoulder pads. They went out years ago. But I don't care because I love shoulder pads. So it's about, and then we're constantly being told, this is in now. This is cool now. I don't like skinny jeans. I personally don't suit skinny jeans because I've got the skinniest ankles ever. I just look, when I wear boots with them, my ankles look like a candlestick in a plant pot. Candlestick. But, so I like baggy jeans. So if I like baggy jeans and skinny jeans are in, that's all that's going to be available in a high street shop. And I know if I shop secondhand, I'm going to find the jeans that I feel that suit me. And I'm going to wear them whether someone goes, why is she still wearing flares? You know, they're not in. I don't care. So, and I think vintage is massive. This is one of my biggest things as well about removing this stigma. Vintage is huge. In London, Brick Lane, full of vintage shops. A girl or a guy will go in there happily, come out and go, oh, I got this from vintage Brick Lane. Charity shops are more vintage than a vintage shop on Brick Lane. Like the suit that I'm wearing today is Jaeger. It's men's Jaeger. It's 100% wool. It's definitely from, I'd say, 80s, maybe even earlier than that. If they put this suit in a vintage shop on Brick Lane, 100% wool, it'd be about 100 quid. You will find that in a charity shop for about £15.
Yeah.
And it's the same. There's more vintage in a charity shop than there is in a vintage shop. And now people are just going, like, Topshop think is now as classed as vintage, which makes me ill because that means I'm vintage. But there's such a big difference between vintage and charity shopping when really they're both the same. But your money's going to charity.
Why do you think there's such a stigma about people going to a charity shop?
Because a long time ago they were like musty and it was all about the only people shopped there who were poor, and that stigma has very quickly been removed thanks to things like Love Island, who, you know, collaborated with eBay, and things like that has changed it. But now that's my role and my mission, is to remove the stigma of showing people I'm head to toe in charity shop. I don't smell, hopefully, like musty. Do you know what I mean? And look, when I do hauls and I show, like, look at this, look at this, look at this, and people are going, I can't believe it. I got a Ralph Lauren jumper yesterday for £7. Now, that still is in the shops, that style, for 150 quid easily. And it's in brand new condition. And the reason why we've got so much good stuff in the charity shops is because we're over consuming, aren't we? And all this, people are not wearing stuff, so there's still things in there with new with tags. Still these horrendous companies that are still producing all this new stuff. But if you picked up let's say, one of my favourite brands is Jerry Weber. If you went into a charity shop now and picked up a Jerry Weber jacket, it'll still be in pristine condition from 30 years ago because it was made better, the quality's better. If you go into a charity shop, if you put something from a fast fashion brand in a charity shop and they picked it up in 30 years, it will not be the same. If you wash it, it's not the same. So my thing is to show people the quality that's in charity shops, the amount of incredible one-off unique things that you can get, the prices, and obviously my main one, that money is, their charity is getting that money, and these charities are not government funded, so we're helping towards that.
It's funny because people will sit on certain websites and buy second-hand clothes.
Yeah.
But they won't walk into a charity
No.
shop.
And I think that's more about worrying what other people are going to say, isn't it? You know, they'll buy off vintage. It's the same as like celebrities. I imagine a lot of celebrities wear stuff secondhand, but they won't, you know, they won't admit that that's where it's from. As same as, I think a big thing for me would be, I'd love someone on the red carpet to re-wear an outfit that they wore last year. Say someone to go to the BAFTAs and wear the same outfit they wore. That would remove a big... Yeah, that would remove a massive stigma, wouldn't it? I felt great in this last year. The press loved it. They said I looked amazing. And I felt good. I want to feel like that again, so I'm putting it back on. You know, that would help, wouldn't it? people feel like they can buy secondhand. I do think vintage plays a big part in people thinking that it's okay to shop secondhand. But there is still a little bit of a stigma there, and it's just about removing that, isn't it?
So is there any certain charities that you feel really connected to, given the amount of people that you've got to know for the years?
Do you mean relationship-wise? Yeah. I'd say the air ambulance.
That's what you've done in Sahara.
Yeah, so when I first started Charity Shop Girl, I think I had about 215 followers. They invited me to one of their shops to volunteer for the day. They did loads of like press around me, and like I was thinking, why are they doing all? They just from day one have been my biggest supporter, even when nothing was happening. Then they asked me to be an ambassador, which was one of my goals when I started. And then now, they're just the most forward-thinking charity for the sector. They make me feel so special when I go there. And they benefit, we both benefit from the relationship. I've been to both of their bases. They're not government funded. Costs £3,500 to go at once in those helicopters on one mission, which just blows my mind. And I've been to the children's one, what they do for children. The first child that they took on an air ambulance, they saved his life. He's now 11 years old. Like, what they're doing for us and our families is huge. So I feel like I've probably got the best relationship with them. And they've supported me since day one.
Shopping for men. How often do you get asked about that, and what advice would you give?
I really like this question because I wear a lot of men's clothes. So I'm already promoting the men's section. Men shop very differently to women. The men will wear and wear and wear and wear and wear something until it falls apart. I've seen men's underpants, they do actually do that. But, you know, like, so the men's section is never as big for that reason. However, some of my best finds have been men's things. So jumpers, shirts for work, suits, all my suits are men's. And I think men don't also shop like women. We always need that little dopamine hit, don't we, of we want something new. Whereas a man will just go, I'll just wear that. You know what I mean? So it's difficult to, maybe not you. Yeah, maybe not you. It's difficult to reach them, but I have got quite a lot of male followers. You know, I think the male followers follow me because I'm funny. I think more so than my fashion. But the male section is getting better. More men are charity shopping. But I don't get a lot of men asking.
Don't you?
Really, no. I used to get called quirky all the time. I still do. And I used to think, what an awful... it's not even a compliment, that. I don't know how I feel about that. But now I love it. And now I feel like my kids know that I'm different. I've got different little quirks. You know, even I do the silliest little thing in my house. But I feel like it's a big impact on them because it's showing them that I'm different. So I hate the big light. It like gives me the horrors. If you put the big light on, it just ruins the ambience. So I've got a disco bulb in there instead of the proper bulb. The kids go mad because if they come down to get something in the night, they put that light on and there's disco bulbs going around. They go, Mum, when are you going to put lights on? I go, no, because I refuse to have the big light on. But it's like a funny thing in our house now, and the mates come round and the mates are like, your mum's so weird that she's got that disco light in. But something as little as that, the kids go, oh, she's funny, isn't she? They're not embarrassed by it. And they're like, don't put that light on, mate, because it's not the big light, it's the disco light. All those things are teaching, you know, my kids to have your little quirks. And I wear men's suits, and the way that I dress is a bit different. And my hair sometimes is a bit different to other people's hair, or, you know, and Joe, my son, has had every haircut you could imagine. And anytime he wanted to do the Phil Foden blonde when he was younger, I went, yeah, you can do it. Because nobody else was, other people in school were like, no, you won't do it, you won't do it. I went, Joe, just do it. And he was like, but people are going to say stuff. I said, so?
Yeah.
Just do it. Exactly what you said. I want them to own it. If you're a bit different, own your little quirks, because that's what makes you who you are. And it gives off this like confident vibe, but not in a cocky way.
Not an arrogant way.
It's just like, this is who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I am. I know my little quirks, and I love it.
So just going on to the brands now, which is obviously you, but also, because as you said earlier, you almost fell into that, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you've had to learn on the job in a way. So how would you think you have managed to build such a good brand for yourself?
I think being honest is the biggest one for me. And I think that communicating with my followers. So a big thing for me is replying. It's having that relationship that they feel like. I want my followers to feel like that they know me. And when I bumped into someone recently at an awards and she was like, I feel like I already know you. I think you said that as well, didn't you? You feel like doesn't your mum live in Carlisle? The Lake District or something. But I love that because it means that you know me. I get gifts sometimes. Someone sent me a Cinzano apron. I've had like fake grapes in the post. I've had, like someone sent me mangoes. I've never had fake mangoes. I've got every fake fruit, ornamental fruit. They were like, I've seen these mangoes, I need to send them to you. Someone sent me this gorgeous jar of cherries because they said, I feel like the jar will be perfect ambiance for your kitchen. Like someone made me a necklace that says rummage because I love having a rummage. That's what's made Charity Shop Girl be as good and successful as it is because I have this incredible community and we are like one big family. I find stuff now and think, I know what one of my followers is going to like that. I feel like it's very you're going to love it. Or they see something and they'll go, this reminds me of you. And it could not be any more me. So I feel like I've definitely done my role properly in when people meet me, I'm exactly the same as I am on my videos. I've got the same little mannerisms, the same characteristics, everything's the same. And I don't stop. I'm consistent, you know what I mean? I also don't say, I obviously do brand deals now because I have to pay my bills and it's my job. But I only do brand deals with things that my followers are going to go, yeah, Jen would use that. I get asked for things sometimes. I think I would never use that though. You know what I mean? Can you promote a dating app? I have been on dating apps, but I'm not going. That's not something my followers want to see either. Yeah. So it's always about them just as much as it's about me. It's got to be authentic. That they'll watch it. They know I love cooking, so I've done videos with like the Co-op, Crockpot. They know I love music. I'm just doing some work with Amazon Music at the minute. So my followers are going to watch that and go, it's Jen.
It's actually real, yeah.
So, but you won't catch me like doing teeth whitening or, skinny teas or, take these capsules or whatever because I don't take them. So I'm not putting my name to something that I don't take myself.
Yeah.
So I think it's being honesty and being 100% myself, like unapologetically myself.
So if someone was looking to start their own brand, would that be the biggest piece of advice you would give?
Put yourself into it. And even, if there's meetings, I want to be on the meeting. If there's an email, I want to reply to the email. It's putting myself in there. You can get people to do that for you, but then people are buying into you, aren't they? People are buying into your personality. They're buying into you as a person more than the brand, really. They go... So when I worked in the car dealership, I was a hostess, and my main thing was, I'm always about customer service. It's that someone walks out of there and goes, sitting around having the dinner and go, this girl today, she was so lovely. Like, she was funny, she was kind, she really looked after us, she went that extra mile. They're actually not even talking about the brand, are they? They're talking about you. So put yourself into everything. It's got to be wholeheartedly you.
It's funny because we had this conversation not too long ago, really, and it was a jeweller's that we've done a bit of work with, but you end up building a relationship with the person in there who then looks after you, and they're the one who's messaging you and stuff, and then you build that relationship with them,
it's
and
personal.
not necessarily the actual main brand. So This morning.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So they actually watched one of my videos that wasn't even to do with charity shopping. It was me pissing around, basically, doing my makeup and singing, and I was like, I rapped to like some John Legend song because I'm so proud that I know all the lyrics to it. And they contacted my management, and then when they found out that I did charity shopping and I did all this stuff, that was huge, by the way, for charity retail, to have a slot on a program like that talking about charity shopping. It was huge, and it was successful. They loved it. They gave me 7 minutes to talk, and I probably could have gone on for about 2 hours. That's the hardest thing for me, is keeping in the 7 minutes. So I have it in my ear going, okay, Jen, that's enough now, that's enough now. But just special.
Did you find it difficult, or did you think, you know what, it was quite natural?
No, I'm talking about something that I genuinely love. If you interview me on the couch about sustainability, I would panic.
Yeah.
But if you talk to me about charity retail, charity shopping, finding your own identity with regards to style, it just flows because it's in my bones. It's natural. So yes, it's nerve-wracking, but as soon as that camera goes on me, I'm off. I'm talking about it because it's my love, isn't it? You know what I mean? I just don't get nervous because I'm talking about something that I'm genuinely passionate about.
So what's next?
Kilimanjaro. No, it's not. I don't know. I like where I am right now. I like that things are flowing, and I like that it's growing little. I think I'm too fragile, I think, to be catapulted. I like that and I want to, that's the word I would use, is I love that it's organic. And what things that are coming off the back of my hard work. So I feel like that anything that happens, I've earned it. So I want that to still keep happening. If someone was to ask me, like, what would your dream goal be? It would be to have a TV programme going around showing charity shopping, dressing people from the charity shop, travelling the country, showing these amazing little places that we've got in the UK that have charity shops that you can go and... I'm not telling you too much, actually, someone might steal it. And I'd love to bring a perfume out called Ambiance, because it's my favourite word. But that's probably last down the line, yeah. It smelled like oudy, like Tom Selleck, you know, like that musky smell. So if anyone wants to collaborate on a perfume, I'll do that.
Is it just a weird question? I've never even thought about it before. But is it just a UK thing? Charity shopping?
No. America, thrifting. America and Canada is huge for charity shopping. And I went to Marbella in the summer. I went to 5 charity shops over there. Jersey, I went to Jersey with Jersey Hospice Care. They've got charity shops. Everywhere's got charity shops. There are a lot. I think the UK and America and Jersey have like perfected it. It's still probably in other countries seen as a place for poor.
Right.
I think they'll come along with it as we go along with it, but no, it's everywhere. I'd say maybe America was the first.
Was it?
But don't quote me on those statistics. I don't know.
Have you been round America?
No.
No.
That's actually what one of my goals is as well, is to charity shop in America, thrift in America.
So is that what they call it in America?
Thrifting, yeah.
Is it?
Thrift shop. Do you remember that song, Macklemore? I'm gonna pop some tags. That's about charity shopping.
Ah.
And he talks about the thrift shops, doesn't he? There you go.
We'll use that as an overlay.
I think I can see it from the thrift.
Yeah. That's... You know the song though, don't you?
Yeah. That's it. Covered everything. Unless you want to go over anything yourself.
No, I don't think so. I think I've said enough. I've given you enough information.
Got what?
102,000 on Instagram, 85 on TikTok. But there was a time when my TikTok videos were getting like 200k. Now I'm lucky to get over 5,000 views.
Yeah.
It's TikTok's awful, and it's soul destroying as well. That I think it can really affect you mentally because you think that was, and then someone will do a fucking somersault in a restaurant, get 2 million views, and then there's about 2 million likes, and I put my heart and soul into a video, and you get about 14 likes, and then a troll, and then I'm like, maybe, and I did a video because my most viral video, I got IDs in Waitrose, and I was buying a really expensive bottle of Tempranillo. I had olives, hummus, pita breads, and the man asked me for ID and I didn't have ID. And I went, mate, if I was underage and I was buying all of the nibbles, I'm not going down the park with all of this. And he was going, I know, but you could be. Kids do it these days now. And I went, not in Cheshire they might, in Liverpool. I'd have had 20 Benson and Edges, and I'd have had a bottle of White Lightning and a packet of fucking Space Raiders. And I did a video about it, and it got like 2 million views. That was the biggest video that got me my most followers, and I've never had a video like that since.
Really?
Yeah. And some of my videos, like my charity shop hauls are good, but
That is funny though.
but that got my most views. And even now, it still sometimes goes back out again, doesn't it? And then I get more views from that. I just can't get TikTok right, really. It's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
And I just don't like it because people are brutal. Really brutal. And they'll say stuff about my accent. She's not even from. Someone commented once in the early days, I had to tell my mum to rein it in because someone commented saying, what the fuck's this wool talking about? And my mum put, this wool was born in not a screen. I was like, Mum, stop. You can't get involved. They always say about my accent. Yeah.
What we'll end on then, if you can sum up charity shopping in 3 words.
Oh. What's the word that you'd say if you're given to charity and...
Selfless.
Yeah. Purposeful.
No, isn't it? When you do something that's bloody hell, philanthropic.
Altruistic.
I think my followers would know I wouldn't know what that word is. And someone will go, spell it, and I'll go, I don't even know what it means. Do you know what I mean? Don't you like...
If you could sum it up one word, yeah, you by giving back, you get so much more.
Exciting. Creative. Selfless.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.